Hey everyone, before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. It started as a joke, or at least that's what I told myself. We were sitting around the dinner table with friends, laughter bouncing off the walls, wine glasses half empty, plates still warm. I had no idea one careless line from me would change everything that night, and the way I saw my husband forever. Michael and I had been married for 9 years. We'd built a comfortable life, the kind where people assume everything must be perfect, a lovely home, stable jobs, vacations every summer. But behind those polite smiles and photo-perfect moments, we'd slowly become strangers who lived under the same roof. He buried himself in work, and I buried my loneliness behind sarcasm. That night, our friends, Mark and Olivia, had invited us over for dinner. The conversation drifted from work to relationships, and at some point, Olivia teased her husband about forgetting their anniversary. Everyone laughed, and somehow the attention turned toward me. "Careful, Olivia," I said, swirling my wine. "If Michael forgets ours next year, I might just get myself a new husband." The table burst into laughter. It was supposed to be harmless, a throwaway line to keep the banter going. But when I glanced at Michael, he wasn't laughing. He just sat there, still, his jaw tight, eyes cold. For a second, our gazes met, and something unspoken passed between us. The laughter around the table started to fade, replaced by an uneasy silence. He set his fork down quietly and leaned back in his chair. "You should," he said flatly. "Maybe then you'd finally realize it isn't the husband that's the problem." The air froze. Olivia's hand stopped mid-reach for her glass. Mark looked between us, unsure whether to smile or stay quiet. My heart started pounding and my throat went dry. "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked, forcing a nervous laugh. Michael's tone didn't change. "It means you've spent years blaming me for everything wrong in your life. Maybe a new husband won't fix what's actually broken." You could have heard a pin drop. My cheeks burned, my laughter died, and suddenly the joke didn't feel funny anymore. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The calmness in his words cut deeper than if he'd shouted. Everyone at the table shifted uncomfortably, pretending to check their phones or take another bite, anything to escape the tension. I wanted to speak, to defend myself, but for the first time I didn't know how. That single moment felt like our entire marriage unraveling in front of everyone. The car ride home was painfully silent. Streetlights flashed across Michael's face as he drove, his expression unreadable, calm, distant, almost too calm. I stared out the window, replaying the moment in my head again and again, wishing I could take it back. When we finally pulled into the driveway, he didn't wait for me to speak. He stepped out, unlocked the door, and went straight to the living room. I followed quietly, my heart racing, unsure whether to apologize or defend myself. He poured himself a drink and sat on the couch, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. "You think it's funny, don't you?" he said without looking up. "Turning our marriage into a joke for other people." I swallowed hard. "It was just a joke, Michael. You're overreacting." He let out a small, bitter laugh. "Overreacting? You humiliated me in front of our friends, Emma. Do you even realize how often you do that? How often you make me the punchline?" His voice wasn't angry, it was tired. And that hurt more than any shouting could have. "I didn't mean it like that," I said softly. "You've just been distant lately. I don't know how to reach you anymore. And sometimes humor's the only way I can get your attention." He finally looked up, eyes dark and filled with something I hadn't seen in years, exhaustion. "You don't try to reach me, Emma. You try to wound me. Every sarcastic comment, every jab in front of people. It's like you want me to feel small so you can feel in control." That hit me hard, because deep down I knew there was some truth to it. He stood up and walked toward the hallway. "You don't need a new husband, Emma," he said, his voice quiet. "You need a mirror." And just like that, he disappeared into the bedroom, leaving me alone in the living room, shaking. The weight of his words crushed me, not because they were cruel but because they were true. Somewhere between the years of missed date nights, long work hours, and petty arguments, I had stopped being his partner and started being his critic. I sank onto the couch and stared at the empty glass he left behind, wondering when love had turned into rivalry. I thought about the early days, the late-night talks, the laughter that came easily, how he used to look at me like I was his entire world. Now I couldn't remember the last time I saw that look. The next morning the house felt different. quiet in a way that wasn't peaceful. Michael had already left for work. His coffee mug was rinsed, his jacket gone, his side of the bed perfectly made. I sat there staring at the empty space he'd left behind, feeling the echo of his words still ringing in my head. You need a mirror. It haunted me all day. I replayed every time I'd made a funny remark at his expense. At dinners, at gatherings, even in small moments at home. It was true. I had turned my resentment into entertainment. I'd mistaken sarcasm for communication, cruelty for confidence. Maybe I wanted to prove I didn't care that he'd grown distant. But the truth was I cared too much. That evening I tried to call him, but he didn't pick up. I texted, "Can we talk tonight?" No reply. Hours passed before I heard the front door unlock. He didn't look at me when he walked in. "Dinner's in the fridge," I said softly. "I made your favorite." "Thanks," he muttered, placing his keys on the counter. I could feel the wall between us, thick, unbreakable. I took a deep breath and finally said what I should have said that night. "Michael, I'm sorry. For what I said. For all the jokes. For making you feel small when I should have made you feel loved." He paused for a long time before answering. "It's not just about last night, Emma. It's about all the nights before it. You used to build me up. Now it feels like you only look for ways to tear me down." Tears filled my eyes. "I know," I whispered. "And I hate that I became that person. I just felt invisible, Michael. Like no matter what I said or did, you were somewhere else. So I tried to make you notice me, even if it meant hurting you." He looked at me then, really looked. The anger in his eyes had faded, replaced by something heavier. Sadness. "We both stopped seeing each other," he said quietly. "You made jokes. I made distance. And we called it love. We stood there, two broken people holding the pieces of something that used to be whole. I don't know if we can fix this," I said honestly. He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "Maybe not. But we can stop making each other the enemy." For the first time in a long while we sat down and talked, not as husband and wife trying to win, but as two people trying to understand. And in that fragile silence I realized something. Sometimes the harshest words are the ones that finally make you listen.